And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, it's Sunday. You know what that means. How you doing?
I do know what that means. It's time for another episode of Gimmick Infringement. I'm well, B. We had a nice chat before clicking record. There's a lot happening. I try to switch up my lingo, man. I always start with the same sentence. I'm just going to go with it. There is so much happening, not only in wrestling entertainment, but just in the United States right now. So we had some nice time to debrief and kind of collect our thoughts and feelings on everything. But all that being said, I'm happy. I'm pretty healthy. I got a roof over my head and air conditioning right now, which is pivotal in the summer in Arizona. So I feel good, and I'm excited to be here with you. How are you?
I'm good. I got a weather alert last night when I was texting you saying how I'm about to head into the in-laws pool and put my phone away and get away from some of the distractions. I
swim emoji. Yeah. It was a vibe. Yeah.
I muted a lot of words on Twitter. I deleted Facebook off of my phone. I think I'll try to stick to Instagram and just watch some reels about how to fix stuff, and I'll be happy that way, because the more I see of people in my life saying stupid things either way, I'm good not knowing, because I want to like them for who they are and not what they feel pressured to do in social media. I know what's real. I know what's real, and I know what unites us. Wrestling, number one. Number two,
wrestling, number one. Yes.
Wrestling, number one. Number two, I feel like definitely not music right now. Music is as divisive as ever. Number three, sports. Our shared love of our sports teams, even the playful interaction between teams we hate. Like, I hate Ohio State. I don't care, really. Like, it's a school, it's a brick and mortar building. What is Ohio State? They've never invaded anybody. I don't really care, but also I hope they lose.
I'm going to mail you a Jim Tressel cardboard cutout or a fathead for your classroom. Now,
just a sweater.
Yeah. Or just a sweater.
Just a sweater.
Hopefully you don't
I will burn it.
but it's all love. The reality, the rivalry,
surrounded by a bunch of corn, maize, if you will. I also know that we have this common shared interest, this bond that develops with people at the gym. It's time for another edition of Trap Tales. Let's hit the music.
All right, my man. Well, great segue. It's hard to transition from such a serious topic like that. Obviously, way more serious than anything we're going to get into right now. But you're right. It's time for Trap Tales. I've been to the gym, Brad, and I have something I must report back to you. I'm going to end this with a question. So I've shared with you and our listeners that there continues to be basketball training at my local Esporta, formerly LA Fitness, now Esporta center. And that continues over the summer. Instead of 5 a.m., they're there at 6 a.m. now. The kids get to sleep in a little bit. I discovered this week, I was speaking with their trainer, who's also a club coach, and he revealed something super, super interesting. He shared with me that multiple kids, not only that he coaches, but that he knows, around the basketball scene here in the Phoenix area, they're being homeschooled, possibly in part to help them focus on basketball. So the kids can still play on the public high school's team, but they can be homeschooled during the day and have more time for training. In fact, I know this coach's son is homeschooled. They homeschool their kid. He plays soccer, not basketball, though. But anyway, I am a big believer in school, in public school, the social benefits, the all of it really matters. And these kids that I see at the gym, man, they span race, background. Everyone shows up to get this training. And again, I learned that a lot of them are actually homeschooled. So when I ask, what high school do you go to? Sometimes it's an awkward conversation. The world of amateurism is wild to me. I want to know what you make of this, Brad, especially not only being someone who loves sports and works with the youth, but also being a parent. I would imagine that Freya is going to enroll at the Nightmare Factory or the PC once she's of age, once she's eligible. But I don't foresee you and Jess taking her out of school, homeschooling her, as if you have the time, right? Homeschooling her so that she can focus on becoming a pro as soon as possible. We know that these kids aren't going to end up being professional athletes. That's the less than 1%. I think of a promo I cut when I was coaching. I don't know if I told you about this. I was coaching freshman boys basketball at the amazing Miranda High School. And I'll never forget, after one game we lost, I was really fired up. And in the locker room post game, I told the kids, none of you are going to the NBA. So cut it out. Let's be good teammates. Let's play together and let's win some games. Even though I knew 90% of them wanted to be in the NBA,
Of course.
I crushed their dreams. And I didn't feel bad about it at all until years later now, reflecting with you. So I want to know where do you stand on this amateurism, the homeschooling? I'm still thinking about this conversation I had at the gym from the week.
People are so obsessed with making their hobbies their jobs that I don't think they realize what it requires of them long term, what is required to just make it to that next step or that next level. Listen, man, I'll use everybody's favorite non-polarizing figure, Aaron Rodgers, as an example. Aaron Rodgers.
That's Mike Stiff.
Aaron Rodgers played it at JUCO. If he never transfers to Cal, he's not in the NFL. Right? Like, what NFL scouts like? Yeah, let me go check out this JUCO. Let me go. I heard this guy, one of the Scottsdale Artichokes, can really sling the ball around. I don't think people really realize that it's almost impossible without connections. And anyway, I think the homeschooling thing, Jess and I have had the conversation. Not for sports training, but Jess is definitely, she and I have talked about it. I have a couple of days listed on my calendar already that I'm planning on taking off this year. November 25th. You know why?
WWE Raw?
Might need more tickets. I'll update you.
Wow.
I know. It was what day is it on? So it's like, well, it's Monday Night Raw. So I'll let you guess.
It's in the title.
It's like,
I'm so excited. This is news to me.
I don't think it's going to happen. It's probably going to be one of them. But
yeah, we can.
On the other hand, my brother used to skip school all the time. I'm outing him right now publicly. In high school,
I outed the coach. You're outing your brother. That's just what we do sometimes. It's not personal. It's just
poor Prize Picks. We're gonna. Yeah, my brother is legendary De Pere High School basketball coach, and a good teacher, former department lead. All of these accolades to his name. Worked really hard to get where he is, and really proud of him. In high school, he would skip his classes to go to the gym to practice basketball. So I understand it. Like, if you can get that one narrow window of time and get all of your required skills in. My brother-in-law, the doctor, Dr. Brett Garrett, he was homeschooled for a great deal of his schooling.
Wow.
And then he did I'll go do these things outside of being at the home, like go and do the band thing, go and do sports, whatever else you want to do. You can still do that and be homeschooled. It's just a little harder to feel that sense of community. Where I wonder about it is, I think it's great that they're able to do this, because otherwise they're isolated from social interaction. And that's the part that I would be like, yeah, you're going to be, you taught long enough to have at least one interaction with a kid that was homeschooled that you were like, oh, this kid's real weird. And I don't know why. And it's
one
like
one of my good friends is also homeschooled. I met in college, as a matter of fact.
well, it's like, all right, they're really strange.
Yeah, please.
Socially awkward. They were an only child and they were homeschooled the entire time. And then they hit high school, ground running in 9th grade, all like buttoned to the top, pressed clothes, wandering around like, this is inappropriate language. I don't understand what's happening here. And it's like, all right, well, this kid's going to need a little love, because the reality of what a high school looks like from the inside is about to punch them in the face. And that's the part that I wonder about a little bit. Like, are you more or less prepared in the world after that for getting a job or being successful in college if you don't have those kind of extremes of social interactions that you get from a middle school or a high school? I don't know what the answer is there statistically. My guess is that kids end up being more prepared for life, homeschool wise, because you're getting the stuff at home that you complain about not getting when you're at high school. Like, I don't know how to do my taxes. Well, if I'm homeschooling Freya, she's doing my taxes for me. That's how she's going to learn.
That's got to be done. That's a requirement.
Yeah. So it's interesting, man.
It's interesting, and every case is different. Obviously, if you brought a child into the world, you get to decide what you want to do. But I wanted to bring that tidbit to you, my friend, because I wanted to get your thoughts, and you certainly did not disappoint. And speaking of not disappointing, we want to introduce you or reintroduce you to our latest sponsor. Of course, we're referring to Prize Picks. We want to know if you're ready to elevate your fantasy sports experience, because you can win up to 100 times your money during the women's basketball season. Imagine turning a $10 entry into a whopping $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every week, from lowering select players' stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. You already know women's basketball is on fire this season. We have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside greats like Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. This is so good they got me flustered. That is code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Well, Tyler, you know what else is easy? Our transition into wrestling at 27 minutes into our conversation. We haven't talked any graps because the world is on fire. So let's rapid shoot through these.
Let's do it. WWE, Rhea Ripley is back to confront Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. I know you're excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was quite the way to go out. Jada Parker and Michin are still beefing over on NXT. And BBL Bailey was sort of trending on social media on Friday night.
Yes.
Also, Stephanie Vaquer officially signed with WWE. I want to stick with her. What do you make of the expediency of her signing and first in-ring appearance over the weekend during the company's house shows in Mexico?
I think it's a ton of trust in her. I don't think anybody distrusts her in-ring ability. You know, like, a house show is a perfect place for her to debut, because there's no cameras to worry about. There's no hard cam to turn to. There's no promo time. There's no working with, you have 30 seconds. You have to know what that feels like, plus deliver all of the things and figure out what you're going to cut all on the fly. That's the stuff that she's going to have to learn later, is the television production aspect of it. I think a lot of people think, and working WWE style, but I think a lot of people think that you go to the PC to learn how to wrestle. That's part of it, but it's like, you've got to learn how to work a TV monitor and all of these different constraints. And like, it's a production. So how do you do a television production versus the other thing? And I think that's really cool. What I voiced my concerns in several different chats is she nuked those bridges, man. Like, New Japan, CMLL, they seem pretty upset that their big shows had to cancel. that match, and she was one of the bigger draws on that card, specifically because of Forbidden Door and her match with Mercedes Moné and Moné's crossover into CMLL and all of those things happening. And I'm sure because of that, AEW thought they had a chance, but I don't begrudge her at all for doing what she did. You know, if her dream was to go to the WWE someday, if she grew up watching all of that, like, of course she's going to go do that. And of course she's going to be one of the faces for women in Mexico. She's wrestled in Mexico literally a week ago.
Yeah.
And
Chilean pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Hugely popular in Mexico.
Yeah. So whatever. We talked about this though, as another incoming Latin talent. I'm afraid she gets tossed into the LWO. I'm afraid that they're just going to have her be another person on the roster. What is her personality going to be like in a WWE ring? The reason I liked these other places, AEW, CMLL, is the potential crossover within those brands all the time, because AEW is really good about that. And she doesn't necessarily need to have that in-ring character as much in AEW as she will in WWE to set her apart. Because in WWE, it's all about the character and less about the wrestling. That comes secondary, where, somebody like Jamie Hayter, I can't tell you a promo she had other than she says Hayter hits hard. Right? Like, can you
think of a promo? Yeah, that's all we need.
She does the big Papa Pump thing,
right.
And
maybe we'll get that upon her return, some more character development.
Hopefully,
it's been pretty non-existent during the first run. The first run was super enjoyable,
but that's all she needed. She didn't need anything
companies.
More than that.
Yeah, philosophically, the companies are very different that way.
And her character that's her character. Hayter hits hard is her character.
She's Brit's muscle.
It's kind of like, I know people don't like Marina Shafir because her in-ring work looks so different than everybody else's. I happen to love her. I think she's great. She's an actual killer, and could hurt probably anybody on that roster if she wanted to. And I love her character because she just sort of like purses her lips, looks like a monster like this. And that's her whole character. I'm not talking to you. I'm going to walk out, beat you up, and leave. And that's awesome. That could have worked for Stephanie. And I think they should lean into that in WWE. I think if it doesn't work out there, we know that we've had people in, was it Saray that had to leave? Saray, I believe, right? She was Saray in NXT. Didn't she leave because of like physically falling apart mentally and physically to go that. I can't remember which wrestler it was like, I had to get out because I was dying there. And I don't remember who it was, but it was like they physically were just not okay because of all the strain and stress and everything. And that's a knock it out of the park, no brain talent. Easy. So is Stephanie. What if it doesn't work? So if it doesn't work, now she's got to go back. I think it will. I think they'll figure it out, and I think she'll be a star. But like I'm saying that about Julia too, and she hasn't wrestled in NXT and she's wrestling overseas still. I don't even know if she's on a contract. I don't know if they signed a deal to take a look at her. I don't know what's going on there. It's really fascinating because WWE is doing a lot of stuff they haven't done before with Vince, and it's exciting. And I hope she has a really long, prolific career there. I think the speed at which everything happened, because she probably wasn't under contract. She was probably on a match-to-match deal with the companies. So the only thing I can think is she was able to get out of those contracts. The only way that works is if she's not in them. Otherwise, WWE can't even talk to her. So that's the only way that I can think that it would be like, boom, it's done. She wasn't under contract anywhere, which is crazy. And WWE is able to go like, all right, sign. Our deal is you're not allowed to wrestle because you belong to us now. And that's what happened. And cool. She got a huge ovation for her in-ring debut, and she looks incredible. People are going to be thirsting after her big time, and I'm not ready to see that on the timeline. But yeah, you're laughing, but
we know. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the potential matchups are just too exciting to ignore. I can't wait, man. Really excited for her. Happy for her. I hope everything works out, because I think it might be scary for her if she has to leave, or if she just decides she wants to go.
Yeah. Talk about betting on yourself. I am
Yeah,
amazed at how quickly this all unfolded. It was just
it's
1 week
insane.
ago on
It's
our last episode when we were discussing the reported interest from WWE and AEW in signing her. And obviously, you and I have been glowing about her since that match at Forbidden Door when our eyes are really open to how talented she is. Oh my gosh, in 1 week, she was the talk of the wrestling community. Shawn Michaels even confirmed the news
yes,
when the reports were starting, which never been done before that I can remember, to sign the talent this quickly and verify from the higher ups that she is going to be there. The tie-in with Mexico with those shows over the weekend. I can't think of a recent example, Brad,
I
where
can.
a newly signed talent happened like this. Who
I
you got?
can. Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn,
He had a
the quarterback
he had a 6 touchdown game
against
against the
Detroit.
Lions, and dude got
Wow,
paid, and
that's
then turned out it wasn't going to work out.
Seattle, right? And then
Went to
Russell Wilson.
Seattle. Russ
Yeah.
got drafted. Went to Oakland. He was terrible. Back to back up in Green Bay not that long after that. But the man got paid because of that one event. That's what this felt like. Forbidden Door happened. Stephanie came up, had a
AEW,
huge outing,
yeah.
immediately gets signed to a big contract. That's the closest comp I have to it. I just hope that contract turns out to be a Tom Brady situation and not a Matt Flynn situation.
Exactly. And
I think it will.
I hope so. I think so. I hope so. I wanted to what you said about the LWO and how we've seen certain talent being used on the roster. I want good things for Stephanie Vaquer in WWE. The last note I had about this, we don't necessarily spend a lot of time on it, but you mentioned about burning bridges. That was also one of my takeaways from this week. That element of this story of Vaquer dropping the title so quickly and being taken off the card and the posters for CMLL and New Japan.
I was dropping. She was stripped of one of the
She was sure.
titles.
Yeah. Not even like, not putting anyone over.
They were like, she's gone, so we're taking it.
And we know how serious that is in the wrestling business.
Yes.
Of you do the honors on your way
It
out.
really
You put
hurts
other
the
people
belt.
over. Yeah, a good life.
The illusion of a championship, right?
Right. Exactly. So it's like, okay, am I pro company? Am I pro talent? Can I be both?
Yeah.
Burning bridges. It's something I've had to learn professionally. I'm thinking of what is the Brad Winchester equivalent. Would this be you signing with Mountain View a few weeks before Marana starts their semester? Like what? How do we process this? Because I think that conversation about burning bridges professionally, I think that does translate to fans like you and I who haven't stepped in a ring, but try to navigate professional spaces with integrity.
I think it would be me signing with South Point.
That was South Point Catholic. No. Oh man, that would be a heel turn. No disrespect. South Point.
That'd be like a prolific athlete transferring there or something. Tyler.
Prolific teacher.
I wrote down the first words in my question are Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer made her WWE debut in Mexico against Isla Dawn. Io Sky made her return to Japan and fought Utami Hayashida in Marigold. And Marigold, and that whole story is a fascinating story with the New Japan firing and then Marigold starting up and New Japan partnering with AEW, but Marigold partnering with WWE because there's some weird tampering things happening there. All fascinating to me, but I don't know how international laws work with that stuff. AJ Styles made his return to Japan and fought Marufuji in Noah. All of this is crazy. Tyler, who else in the company would you like to see travel to another promotion, not AEW, to compete? Let's just assume AEW, TNA off the table.
Wow.
ROH as well.
Okay. Makes
sense. I already said AEW, so never mind.
Makes sense. Oh man, I think Ilya Dragunov or Braun Breaker would be great. My initial thought was Drew McIntyre, but we've kind of seen him elsewhere and him shine elsewhere. I think Ilya or Braun would be tremendous in any of these promotions. Both guys work with a certain intensity and velocity that would be stellar.
Yeah, I have no problems with Ilya and Kenta would be fun.
Ooh. Imagine
well, I
Braun
think
Breaker going elsewhere and bringing
Braun
like
Breaker.
have you seen that man when he runs between the ropes 25 miles per hour?
Braun
It's like
Breaker,
2K.
and well, I still feel like we got robbed of what was his name? I can't remember his name. Madcap Moss,
Madcap Moss.
Riddick Moss, and Braun Breaker hitting the
Yeah,
ropes. We were robbed.
we need to see that.
We were robbed. Braun Breaker and Takeshita hitting the ropes. It needs to happen
Wow.
at some point. That probably means Takeshita needs to go to WWE, which would probably work out. But Braun Breaker in New Japan, where they love their foreign giants, him squaring off against Jeff Cobb.
Yes,
Oh
and
my
these
God.
are the
Big meaty men.
the under 6 foot crew in me. I have lifelong card holder. Like these guys can be under 6 feet, but be absolute powerhouses.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, Ilya, man, Ilya going to Rev Pro.
Ilya would be great. Yeah,
Rev Pro, or even like CMLL. It would be fun to see him.
Wow,
wrestling. Hechicero would be fun.
Oh my goodness,
they would hamburger each other. It would be crazy.
Oh my goodness,
right? Like imagine how fun that would be.
It would be great.
Yeah, I'm with you. As far as the women's side,
yeah. Let's talk about it. Please.
I think Piper going to New Japan would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Going in there as just a beast. But I can also see like Zelina doing something nice. There. That would be that.
What about Bianca?
Bianca going to New Japan, I think, would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, she'd be huge anywhere.
I mean, she's
in
going to
ring wise.
She might go to Marigold. I don't know if she has any interest in wrestling Joshi, but that juxtaposition in styles would be really fun. I think Bianca would be great. Rio would be. Oh, I mean, sign me up.
For sure. You can't go wrong with any of these.
Which WWE talent makes their appearance first at Soft Ground?
Do you have a name in mind?
Cody.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Cody. Cody goes anywhere, as we've seen evidence in.
Cody. Well, I was trying to think of people that I haven't seen, like trying to avoid like Kyrie went, but like she was just there. And Cody has been in New Japan. I don't know if he ever did Rev Pro. I don't know if he's ever done something like AAA, but like those could be fun. But we've seen those things before. But like a WWE talent that's homegrown, like Bianca, or even Charlotte, going to Japan, or that could be a lot of fun. Natalia going to Japan would be fun. Now that we know that she's re-signed. I think there's a lot of options there that you can go with. You can't go wrong with most of the talent there. I would love to see them go and wrestle some legends. Most specifically, I'd love one last run of Rey Mysterio going overseas. We know he's done stuff already, but the inaugural All In Rey Mysterio is still something that I can't that doesn't make sense to me.
It's wild in the main event.
It's great.
Yeah, it's nuts. And then he got the bag from WWE and put his son on, and he Dominic was the Bronny James before Bronny James.
Yeah,
and now look at him. He's closing Raw.
And people were like, "Oh, nepotism." Yes, that's how this works.
That's kind of how everything works. Yeah,
wouldn't you? If I had a spot and Freya I could get Freya in, I'm going to get Freya in.
Of course you are.
I'm not going to feel bad about it either. I'm going to tell her you're getting this because of me. And now you got to work extra hard because people are going to think you only got it for me. Yeah. But, whatever. Who cares? Sure. And it worked out because Dom is awesome in this role.
Yeah, he's been great.
He was terrible at first. Couldn't get him off my screen fast enough.
Yeah, Seth versus Dom, SummerSlam. That was the thing that happened. Well, speaking of veteran talent, possibly putting other people on, Brad, it is time for the highly regarded GI at the movies. We're going to talk a recent Netflix release. Let's get into it.
And now, it's time for GI at the movies.
All right, man, here we go. Eddie Murphy is back. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. the fourth film of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise premiered on Netflix. It's been exactly 20 years since the last film. It stars, actually, I think it was longer. It wasn't even 20 years. It was 30 years, right? 1994.
30 1994, yep.
Yes, I taught English, not math. It's been 30 years, Brad. Like I said, it stars Eddie Murphy, of course, as the protagonist, but we also have Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Taylor Page, and Kevin Bacon, amongst others. The film is set in Michigan and California, including a pivotal scene at a Red Wings game. So I think I know the answer, but what did you think of this film?
Tyler, I loved it. Yes, it had a cameo from the Little Caesars Pizzeria. I loved the entire conversation about hockey. That was hilarious. All of that leading into it. Really great way to bridge the character from back then to now. And goes, what does Axel Foley look like in 2024? I thought that was awesome. I thought that was really cool. I also was really happy to see that they brought back characters. I wasn't even sure if all of them were alive. And I'm really excited to see that they brought back characters. They brought back John Ashton, Chief. Having Taggart there made me so happy. And kind of Paul Reiser, yes. Always great. He was great in Stranger Things when they brought him back. I think Stranger Things did a really good job of bringing back 80s and 90s actors and putting them in the show and having them be a part of it as an adult role. Awesome. But this is an 80s, 90s movie franchise that's bringing back the 80s, 90s actors. Judge Reinhold. Dude, man was everywhere in the 80s and 90s. He was in everything I can think of. Like, he was in all of the movies in that time period. Dude was a star. And then just sort of haven't seen him in a really long time. Billy was back. Not a huge role, but an important one. Serge. Aquel. Seeing the clips of
that was a good cameo
of talking about how he would pop Eddie while they're filming, like he would break Eddie Murphy. Like that's insane. That's insane. Not easy to do. No. And for some reason, every time I see Eddie Murphy, I not see him, but like see the name Eddie Murphy, I think of baseball player Eddie Murray, and I don't know why I can't process this. It's such a weird thing in my head. Anyway, the music choices, perfect. All of it was perfect. I think if you change the soundtrack to fit the times, I don't think the movie works. And I don't mean just the Beverly Hills Cop theme, which is iconic. I'm talking like the tracks, man. The tracks were 80s, and
right. If you throw Post Malone on here, it just doesn't.
No. But I thought it was great. It hit all the nostalgia points. I really liked that it was him as a father, a bad father, navigating all of that. The difficulty of having a relationship with a kid as a police officer. I just thought it was fun, man. There was like social commentary about paying public service employees, and that's why Kevin Bacon's character exists. No spoilers, but I thought it was great. I was thoroughly entertained. Was it perfect? No. Was it better than what I expected from a Netflix movie? Hell yes. Right? Like, did you have that experience?
That was a factor here. Yeah, the fact that it was on Netflix and it's part of the subscription we pay for, factored in. It was enjoyable. I did not regret the 2 hours on it. Like you said, lots of good nostalgia. Just really happy to see a cultural luminary like Murphy.
Yes.
Like get his flowers, get him back, in the zeitgeist. That made me really happy too. Along with the stellar cast we mentioned.
Was Beverly Hills Cop 3 the one in the amusement park? I can't remember.
I think so.
That movie was bad.
94. Can't believe it's been 30 years.
Yeah. But like him, the laugh, all of that stuff. It's just, I wouldn't hate it if they did another one. I'm not going to lie to you.
Wow.
Like, this was a lot of fun. I don't feel
part
like
5 coming to Netflix.
They obviously they didn't close the door on it.
Yeah.
Maybe he moves out to Beverly Hills and stays there, and I don't know what happens.
It's been received pretty positively. Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars. It was the #1 movie on the app. I think it's not impossible you could get this.
I'd watch it again. I probably will watch it again because I was cleaning in here and kind of distracted. So it was I thought the chase scenes were fun. Mm-hmm. Bigger budget than I thought it would have. with special effects and stuff.
Facts.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I also caught the entire first season of the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I don't really understand why people were complaining about it. It's pretty close to it really holds true to the spirit of the show, even though it's not perfect. But it's not going to be perfect. It's not a 1-to-1. It is very close, and I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the rest of them. Because I liked the series, the original series, much darker, this live action version. And I finally watched the end of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I think the final season ended in like 2020, but Freya was paying attention at that point. So we weren't going to do that. Give her nightmares for the rest of her life. Tyler, I watched a lot this week, but Axel F is the one that stood out to me.
I love that. I love that for you. We got to talk AEW. I have a question ready, and we'll just go ahead and roll right into it. All Elite Wrestling, the 250th episode of Dynamite is this week. We've been there from just about day one, Brad. Swerve Strickland is taking on Kazuchika Okada, and MJF is getting his match with Will Ospreay for the International Championship, much earlier than we anticipated. However, I have one question every week, and I want to spend this moment discussing Mariah May winning the Owen and her subsequent turn on Timeless Tony Storm, her former mentor. Brad, it's no secret that you have a theater background. You've acted on stage, worked on tech behind the scenes, and done everything in between. From an acting standpoint, what did you think of how this was executed? And given that Mariah May is likely going to receive a very warm response in London for All In, was it the right move to turn her heel?
It was the right move. It was pitch perfect. I thought the acting on a camera. So anybody that's ever heard this, there's a very famous episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard, is being tortured, and there's a Cardassian torturer trying to convince him that there are 4 lights or 5 lights or whatever it is in front of him. And every time he says there are 3 lights, because there are 3 lights, he electrocutes him or puts this thing that activates every pain receptor in his body over and over and over again. And it's got to be hellacious. It's awful to watch. And he just keeps saying, there are 3 lights. And he just commits to it and won't break. And at the end, he's rescued right before he's about to say that there are not 3 lights, there are 4. Just make it stop. When I watch it now, I think, holy shit, this acting job is incredible on stage, but not with a camera in your face. You have to be bigger and more over the top and melodramatic. You have to express all of these things to a stage audience, because ultimately these people are performing in front of thousands of people in a live crowd, right? Like, so you have to do big and lots of big gestures and expressions. That's why wrestlers wear brightly colored clothing and stuff and peacock around. It's to make sure people know, oh, this is a character I'm watching. It's important. And I think what they did was perfect for a live theater audience, for the live audience in the crowd. I don't know how well it translated to TV, but I watch it thinking, oh, I'm watching a theatrical performance. Otherwise, if I'm watching a TV performance, it takes me out of it. The only time I think that is promos backstage, cinematic things that they do. If it's match time, if it's live, I usually don't think that way. I just think, oh, this is a theatrical thing. Even promos to an extent are theatrical because you have to be big over the top. So I had no problems with it. I thought it was really great. Super excited for the angle. We knew it was going to happen. We're going to have heel Mariah and probably babyface Tony Storm. We just didn't know who was going to turn on who, but we knew it was going to happen. I love the expediency with which Mariah May just went up, grabbed the belt, and just belted her in the head immediately. No hesitation.
Yeah, she had a plan. We'll hear more on Wednesday, but she knew what time it was.
It was amazing. What'd you think?
Yeah. I wasn't sure which way this was going to go. I knew, we discussed this last week. I knew Mariah was going to win this match. I was definitely more sure of that than Bryan Danielson beating Hangman Page. But to your point, Brad, I didn't know who was going to turn on who. I wasn't sure. I could see Tony leaning into her evil side, but I wasn't ready for Mariah to turn that quickly, right when they're on stage, like, less than a minute after she wins the match. The match was fun with Willow Nightingale. The turn itself, I thought was really well done. The interactions with Luther, I don't think were extremely well executed.
No.
It looked like he just sort of, threw himself off onto the table. That was very
got hit and then jumped.
Yeah. It was very clear what was going to happen there. Very, very pro wrestling, but not necessarily the most well executed. However, including Tony's heel, the watch for the shoe, using that against Tony for Mariah to end Dynamite, much like we ended Raw in an impactful way.
Digging the heel into the head.
Yeah, for Mariah to end Dynamite with a bloody Tony Storm beneath her, Mariah digging that heel into Tony's forehead. That was so gruesome and such a great way to already jumpstart their feud. This match I'm looking forward to as much as anything that we're going to get on the All In London card. Hopefully Ricochet will be on that card. Maybe we'll see him as soon as this week. We'll see. But Tony versus Mariah, in my opinion, one of the best built grudge matches that they've had in company history. And they still have weeks and weeks to play with this until we get the actual match, across the pond in London. So I thought this was a really great way to end Dynamite. 2 weeks in a row that Dynamite ended on a super hot note. And I'm excited to see what heel Mariah May looks like. I didn't follow her much in Stardom, but I'm really excited to see where this character goes from here.
She is dastardly. She's a great heel, so I'm super excited for this. She's kind of an awful. Her character is an awful person. So
I didn't know that. She's been a kind of pseudo fan favorite in AEW since getting.
Remember, she joined up with very heel Tony Storm.
Tony Storm, yes,
and that's kind of moved along. So
right, I'm thinking of the whole "We Want Mina" when we were like, "Oh man, we just want Mariah to be happy. We like Tony. We like Mina." Like that's where my mind is. Not dastardly Mariah, even though it's going to be awesome.
Mina's tweet was hilarious. It's just like, I don't know how to feel. It was great. Okay. My question for you, Tyler. Mariah May turned on Tony Storm. Orange Cassidy killed Trent with a wrench. The Bang Bang Gang lost the trio's belts for freebirding. FTR returned. Sky Blue is a cowgirl for some reason. What the hell happened there? That's not my question. Dynamite has been on a hot streak. Collision has had some good returns. So my question here, what feud, turn, moment, etc. will be appointment viewing for you specifically before All In?
You said heel turn?
Anything. Just what moment or heel turn, face turn, anything.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the appointment viewing moment that we don't know about already before All In?
Right, kind of forecasting.
Yeah.
I'll see Ricochet's debut. I'm ready for. I'm really intrigued to see where Pac goes from here, but I don't think we're necessarily going to get a turn either way. Pac has always been shades of gray, in my opinion, from the jump. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, but he's always kind of been, I think he's just Pac. He's not heel or face. I guess he was vicious at times, but now he's kind of in the gray area. Man, what turn's going to happen or that I would like to see? I'm going to go with Swerve here. Really polarizing figure for reasons, I would say, largely outside of his in-ring action, because he's a tremendous in-ring wrestler. But we know we're getting Swerve versus Danielson at All In. I don't think we're going into that match babyface versus babyface. I think by that point, Swerve is going to lean in to being more of a heel character. I think the fans are really going to get behind Danielson. Maybe they'll still dance when Swerve comes out and, do the Prince Nana. But I really want to see Swerve lean into being more of that vicious heel because, Brad, I think following All In London, we're going to switch this up entirely. And Hangman Page is going to eventually become babyface again. And Swerve is going to resort back to being a heel. Because here's the thing. Hangman Page is right about everything.
Yes, 100%. He's just an asshole right now.
We are fickle.
He's right.
Hangman is not.
Yes.
We're the fickle ones.
Yes.
I am ready and I'm hopeful that Swerve is going to turn back to being heel ahead of London. How about you?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Danielson Hangman.
We did not. But speaking of blood, there was also blood at the start of the show for that match. Lots of it.
loved Jeff Jarrett staring at the heel tunnel and then Hangman coming out of the babyface tunnel. I thought that was amazing.
That was cool.
Such a great little thing. And then being confused, like, wait a second, what do you mean?
Hangman's right.
Hangman's right.
For him.
He's beating everybody up. He wants to go after the Elite because they screwed him over and they're the ultimate heels in the company right now. He's right about everything. I want good things for the anxious, depressed millennial cowboy. I have no issues with what you said there. I was trying to think of something. I don't know. I think that's the problem is like we have Ospreay MJF coming up. We have Okada and Swerve coming up. We have something happening with Mariah May and Tony Storm. What else is there? Also, shout out to Willow for becoming a champion. I see
and the Owen Hart inspired Nation of Domination gear.
Oh, so great. Good. So good. That made so much sense for her character and for her specifically. Yeah.
She's having such an amazing year. So happy that she's really broken through in 2020.
I saw somebody say they don't understand it. I don't get that person.
Yeah. Like those are one of the people you block.
Yes, I did actually.
Excellent decision, my friend.
I was really struggling with this. That's why I asked the question, because I don't know what the thing is, because we know Ricochet is going to show up.
Yeah, he's got to have he's got to have a presence on that card for sure.
So the only reason that I can think, this is my theory, that MJF and Ospreay are happening first is because Ricochet Ospreay is going to be the Wembley match.
Oh wow, Ricochet heel?
I don't know.
I would like that. I think it's time.
I think it would be
We
fun.
didn't see him heel at all for 6-7 years in WWE.
I think it would be cool because if Ospreay pins MJF or something, or MJF is about to lose to Ospreay, he's about to hit Blaine Jones and Ricochet stops him, costs him the match. That would be a great way to debut as a heel, and it would ignite that Wembley feud, and it's going to be an all timer. So. That's the move there. That's why I was like, oh, maybe they're doing it. I know it's a big deal because it's 250, but it's also, like what does that do for your biggest pay-per-view of the year? Arguably with All In, at least attendance wise, it'll be the biggest pay-per-view of the year. They're at like almost 50,000 tickets already.
Yeah. 51,
which is great for AEW. That's incredible. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do here because I don't know what do you do with the women that we don't already know about? Like, I have no idea.
I have enjoyed AEW's focus on building storylines in the women's division outside of the title picture, because we have Willow versus Chris Statlander. We also have, I think this was on Rampage this past week, Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo still beefing. I don't know if those two feuds make it to the All In London card. If anything, I think Willow and Stat probably have a better shot than Deonna and Thunder Rosa. But in those both situations, I think it's pretty clearly defined who the babyface and the heel are, right? Like Willow's obviously the babyface. Chris has turned heel recently. For Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo, it's a little different. I think Deonna Purrazzo is pretty firmly established that she's the heel now. But to your point, Brad, I think it would be really important for us to get some surprise, a character shift leading into All In London, or maybe at All In London, following a match or a run-in. I think Swerve would be great to turn back to being heel. Ricochet coming in and being heel, setting up a match versus Ospreay, as you laid out, would be fantastic. I'm thinking of someone like Jon Moxley, the consummate shades of gray. He's got to have a presence on this card. What does this look like for him? Takeshita, it seems like we're yearning for him to turn back to babyface and being the Cinnabon-loving superstar that we need.
Yeah.
Maybe we lean into that.
When do we get United Empire reuniting? It seems like Fletcher's leaning pretty hard into this heel role now after what happened this weekend.
He put the boots to Dynamite Kid. I was like, Fletch, we want you to be a good guy. What's that about?
Yeah, but I don't think that'll happen until there's a lot of people injured right now or recovering. I think one person that we haven't talked about in a long time for obvious reasons, Tay Mello, when she come back, where she fit in. Where's Julia Hart? There's what do you do with all these other women that are on your roster? What do you do with the Queen Slayer? Are you ever going to have Athena come up to the AEW roster instead of perpetually being the ROH champ, which is a good story. I hear. I'm not going to pay for it, but I hear it's good. I love Athena, but like, I don't want to watch ROH. There's already too much. It's just so much content out there. I don't even have time for free TNA. So it's difficult. So in any case, there's a lot of possibilities. Maybe Miro returns. I know he was posting pictures in Bulgaria. I know CJ Perry is no longer with the company, and I know they went through a divorce, and maybe he's just going through some personal stuff. I have no idea what that circumstance is. I don't want to know. It's none of my business. I just want good things for him because he seems like a pretty good dude. On our end of things, we know we love him in the ring, and we know we love Keith Lee. Hopefully he gets healthy. Sounds like he's been battling something pretty significant, kind of cryptic tweets and stuff, but I just hope good things for all these talent because I want to see them on my screen, but I also want to be surprised and I want to see people return that actually work for AEW in an AEW ring. So tired of all of this stuff. Crossover stuff, super cool, but what do you do after your big events are over? It's just like, I'm not going to spend money on all these other products. I already have to pay for cable and I got to buy your $50 events. Like,
we need
none of
that
this is
streaming
free.
deal imminently.
None of it's free. So it's
no.
ROH is $10. It's $50 per pay-per-view event. Cable, the only reason I have cable is so that I can watch TNT and TBS.
That's real. Yeah.
And
that's so real. Of course.
TNT can go bleep themselves with this app. Dude, I log into the app every week so I can stream early. And then it tells me I'm not signed in after I sign in.
Lies.
I get 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's just fraudulent. And we know your affinity for, we haven't even mentioned, Danhausen, Ricky Starks, right? These other AEW talent who you want to see back on the show, not crossover Jones every week. Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington, fun match against Takeshita. He's not signed to AEW.
CMLL talent, and I know they had that deal, and New Japan, and I know it's really cool getting that talent in there every once in a while. But
cool. Yeah, they're
but
awesome.
When it's all the time, it's not special.
Yeah,
and
it's not Forbidden Door season anymore.
No, and we're teasing the. I thought it was going to be Sammy or Ricochet or something, and it's some random wrestler I've never heard of, who I hope is going to be awesome because the match highlights look crazy. So I think it'll be awesome.
You saw him stand on that dude's shoulders.
Oh my god!
And they give him a Hurricane Rana.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that. We're gonna get
cool.
We're gonna get some incredible matches out of him.
Right. But you want to see Ricky. You want to see Dan.
Where are these other people?
You want to see these other guys who are already here and are great.
I feel like Ricky's built for the WWE, and I don't know if they have a spot for him.
What about Wardlow? Can we talk about my guy?
Yeah, Wardlow disappeared.
We saw Undisputed. Lots of places this week. Roddy's getting the match versus Mark Briscoe. At the next.
Well, we saw him giving side eyes when he's been in the ring with the Kingdom.
But to what you said earlier, Brad, is always important. I mean, I guess with some talent like Ricky, it's pretty clear from what we've heard. He's healthy. He's ready to go. Danhausen's returned from injury. He seems ready. But even as Britt Baker mentioned in her promo, not last week, but the week before, sometimes we just don't know what people are going through.
Yes.
Mentally, physically. Like, we had no idea. We were talking like, where's Britt? We want Britt back. We had no idea that she had a potentially life-threatening medical situation. Sometimes we just don't know. It's hard to discuss some of these talents because, as you laid out, we don't know if it's a booking thing, if it's a health thing, if it's political.
Right.
Don't know sometimes.
We don't know like anything about like Keith Lee. Remember when he was wrestling, then he had to be sidelined. I think when he was in WWE, it was because of COVID and an underlying heart condition.
He almost died.
Yeah.
Right.
I imagine this is a related thing. I mean, you can't F around with this. I finally got around to watching that Bray doc this week.
Yeah.
Ugly crying on the couch. That. And it was tough. But the fact that he had to wear a defibrillator vest just for, walking around, just being alive in a house. Who knows what's happening? These are huge human beings, absolute massive athletes. It can't be understated that these are athletes and that they're enormous people. And when these enormous athletes put that much strain on their body, some weird things can happen.
No off season.
No. And when you're working out, like it's one of the things, like I love that Freya gets active and stuff. And then she sees me doing push-ups or something. She'll want to do it with me. And I always tell her, well, don't. I don't want you doing that yet. Like, I want you to play and be a kid, because you can really screw up a lot of things if you start too young. Developmentally, like hearts can become enlarged and you can have some back problems and some weird developmental, like she's 7 years old. She's like not even 4 feet tall, I think, right now.
She's trying to
Or
get ready
maybe
for the
4 feet.
PC. Yeah, we
I think
talked about this.
she's 47 and a half inches, I believe is what it is, according to the Great Wolf Lodge measuring stick. So she's not quite 48. And I don't want her trying to get ahead of herself. At the same time, I want her to play and do things. And she's probably going to go into gymnastics soon. So it's all these things that she got to prep for the Nightmare Factory. So
there is a clear pipeline lately in NXT gymnastics background.
But I don't want her lifting or anything like that. I just want her to, if she wants to do gymnastics, cool. But like, yeah. So like, cause you never know what's going to happen with these people. I just want to see them, that Keith Lee theme, the horn for Miro.
Swerve versus Keith. Yeah. Miro
oh my God.
Challenging it. Like,
we still haven't gotten that. We still have Miro and Swerve, Miro and Ospreay. Have we ever gotten Miro and Danielson? They're both submission specialists.
Yeah, we did. I think they fought at a pay-per-view. It was like a #1 contender match.
God, I don't
maybe like the
remember
finals of a. Yeah, it's been a minute, but Danielson did go over on him.
Oh, of course. Anyway, I don't know what to do here, Tyler. All I know is I'm going to kick it to you because it's time for an edition of a rose from Tyler.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Yes, it is. So, oh my gosh, quick notes. It's an emotional week for me. 3 of my 4 picks. I didn't tell you this until right now, Brad.
Yes.
3 of my 4, including Dakota from Paradise Valley.
You teased it to me in a text.
Were eliminated on night 1. Like, I don't know. It's not a good promo for the article that I wrote, but 75% just done after episode 1. Jonathan is the only one left. Kind of looks like a pseudo Max Caster. Based on his presentation during the premiere, I thought he would be a total dud. Given Jen's medical background, he was dressed in a hospital gown, ass out, by the way, and wore gauze tape for 80% of the episode, later revealing his face to Jen. I told you this dude was handsome, so he received a rose. He survived. Final notes, and I'm going to kick to you with a question. Jen described Spencer, the 30-year-old pet portrait entrepreneur from Dallas, as having, quote, golden retriever energy. I don't think that's a promising sign. Thomas N. stood out. He's a retirement planner and former Olympic hopeful swimmer from Georgia. He's also Vietnamese, and it was clear that there may be a connection in a cast that's been criticized for its lack of Asian men. Final note, Sam M., a 27-year-old contractor from South Carolina, received the first impression rose. I wasn't feeling him, but Jen was. During the premiere, one of the men said, "Yes, ma'am," to Jen. It may have even been Sam. He's kind of like a country kind of guy. But it was said, in my opinion, I don't think love interests want to be called ma'am, ever. It makes women feel old. My mom, however, disagreed, as she thought it was fine, if not charming. What say you?
Calling a woman ma'am?
A love interest.
Where's this dude from?
Sam is from, Sam. He's from South Carolina.
That's why.
Yeah. If you're from Arizona, it doesn't work, but if you have that Southern charm,
that's a Southern respect thing. It's yes, ma'am. You say that to people that you respect. It's a sign of respect. So that's a South thing, and I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't think it's a big deal at all. If you are yes, ma'am, and somebody from New York, I don't know. But I feel like that's a very loaded cultural thing too. Mm-hmm. I could say like people that I know that are from the South, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, people that they respect or want that mutual admiration from. In this case, a love interest. I don't know if it would be yes, ma'am all the time, but
for night 1, getting to know you.
But I think so. I'll yes, ma'am, and thank you, ma'am, people. Yes, sir. I'll try to do that as much as I can, just as a sign of respect. But I don't know that I would do that on a first date.
That's my thing. It's the context. It's the context of where the contestants are from, and also the context of this being the person that you want to be your person.
It depends on the date. Is it I'm wearing a suit and they're wearing a dress and we're going out to
Yeah,
a
it was
dinner?
right. Yeah, and this whole night one is formal dresses.
I would have yes ma'am my ass off. If I were from the South and I was going on a date like that, I would have yes ma'am.
He got the first impression, Rose, so he's doing something right.
Incredibly respectful and thoughtful, and I think that's the way that will come off, rather than making somebody feel old. Especially if you know that person's the same age as you. It's not like a motherly thing. I think it's fine. In that context, if you were yes ma'am somebody at the beach, I think that's different. Like if you're wearing swim trunks and they're in a bikini, I don't know if you yes ma'am them, or if you're playing pickleball or something. You know what I'm saying? So
you gotta get you out on the pickleball court, Brad.
You
would really like it.
You would. I was just talking to Jess about my knees hurting this morning. I don't think I'm doing that shit. So
maybe can we fire up the Nintendo Wii? Little pickleball.
A Wii?
Wii tennis.
You just made a Wii reference.
Come on. We don't talk about it enough.
Though I believe the Wii launched in 2007. Maybe
it was a great year. 2007 was a great year.
My first year teaching. Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
Okay. Good to know. I will be sure to keep you updated on Sam's journey. And Jonathan, the only one left for my Final Four picks. What did we miss from the week?
Probably a lot. We covered politics more than we've ever covered politics here, mostly to talk about how crappy people are, and how we're divided. We didn't miss that. We did miss, speaking of politics and people getting political, we did miss talking about Chris Jericho running Samoa Joe through a very conspicuous drywall setup for no reason, to commit a murder so Joe can go shoot season 2 of Twisted Metal. Because he's injured and it's part of the storyline. Man, he gets injured a lot this time of year. Anyway, Joe's going to be off TV for a while. We missed that. I don't know that we didn't cover a lot. I know Copper has not been getting enough national love for my liking, but
Copper, Phoenix Mercury,
man, God,
WNBA All-Star coming up.
So good. Yeah, so good. Other than that, I don't really well. I don't really know. There's a lot of sports news and people moving around. We got basketball news, but
Olympics.
Yes, the Olympics coming.
Speaking of the country and what does it mean to be American? What pride do we? Olympics. Yeah, all this is happening during an important time in American sports.
Hopefully it brings us together because we can all cheer for the one thing, right?
I sure hope so.
I don't know. What do we miss, Tyler?
Yeah, 2 quick notes for me. Number 1, Joe Hendry main eventing NXT and pinning Ethan Page.
Totally forgot.
He has merch on Pro Wrestling Tees as well. Apparently is doing numbers, as they say. So it is good to be Joe Hendry. He is certainly like the Willow Nightingales of the world. Joe Hendry is certainly having a breakout year in every respect. Only other item, quick plug for the website, gimmickinfringementpod.com. New article on there addressing Nike's recent stock woes and really just reflecting on how Nike has become such an important cultural influence over the years. So highly recommend you check it out. Emergency landing, Nike's stock situation. It's on the website now, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Let us know what you think, of course, always about not only Nike, but anything and everything we discussed at GIPod19 on X and Instagram. Brad is at Winduster. I'm at Tyler J. McDowell. Brad, any final words for our listeners?
No, if you can't go to the website itself, if you go onto our website, you can go to the About Us page, find a picture of Tyler, click on his face. It'll take you to the 4AZ website, and you can learn more about 4AZ. Please check out Tyler on his pod. He's doing wonderful work over there. Great interviews, important stuff, especially in this climate. Really proud of you. That's it, man.
I'm so blessed to know you. Thank you, my friend. That really means a lot. And thank you all for joining us for this jam-packed edition. We'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.